Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? Miss Honore, how's it going?
So good. How are you?
I'm ecstatic. We got like all the timing went well with the little intro wave thing, and we've got a special
Oh,
guest.
I know. I'm so excited.
We'll talk about her in just a moment. Before we
Yeah.
we'll get to that in just a second.
Yeah.
Beth is amazing. We're so excited to have her with us.
Yeah.
And it was just super cool that she could meet with us today. Let me go ahead and get my chat up on the screen here so I can see all the awesomeness as it comes in.
Sweet.
How's your day going?
So good. So good. I got up and did my morning writing. So working on the next book.
Ooh,
Uh
can we talk about that? Like, can I ask?
yeah. So you must monetize your book January 2024. And so working on that and the workbook. Also, I have Write Your First Nonfiction Book, a primer for aspiring authors is coming out in a month. What is today? The 25th comes out a month from tomorrow.
It's so good.
And well, you can give me some real-time live feedback if you want in a minute.
Sure.
Because you're reading it.
Yeah, I'm in it now. It's great.
No pressure.
Now, you know what was really cool? If I can just mention this real quick. I love that you don't just speak about it from one person's perspective. You reached out to a bunch of your circle, your network, your connections, people
Mhm.
that you've collaborated with on books or that
Yeah.
you know have been very successful in publishing nonfiction. And you got them to provide stories. Now, obviously, I'm not just talking about mine here, but it was so interesting to read everyone else's stories that I went over that chapter 3 times.
Did you?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yep.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
really enjoyed that.
Yeah. So that book is a process, not the process, but a process for writing a nonfiction book where each chapter has a purpose. And I give you the purpose for the chapter rather than someone trying to figure out, well, what goes in chapter 1? I give the purpose for chapter 1. I give the purpose for chapter 2. And I explain what happens. It's very meta. So I say, well, this is what should be happening in this chapter. And this is what's happening in this chapter as an example of what should happen in this chapter. So it's for the aspiring first-time author who does not want to spend any time trying to figure out what should go in a chapter. And it's very short. It's about 21,000 words. So it's not a super long read. Very meaty.
Right.
Not for vegetarians.
Yeah. But for vegetarians.
But for vegetarians, because there's no actual meat. And so who is that? Is that Helen? Or is that Renee? Hello.
Yeah, that was me harassing them.
Oh,
Yeah.
post. Oh,
I'm
post.
I'm
Okay.
poking the
All
the
right.
nest
Come on, everybody.
before it
Where's
gets to flowing.
Wayne? Where's
I
Tony? Where's
also
Renee?
yeah, I also did that for people that have used these types of platforms. You can send a message like that to test connectivity to all the different channels.
Oh,
Yeah, so on my side, what I can see is when I send a message, there's a little checkbox for Facebook, YouTube, and I
okay.
can see the green checkboxes, meaning the message landed there on the live stream. So I know that the stream's working on those 3 channels at least. Some channels don't give that feedback, and I've mentioned this before, but like LinkedIn doesn't bounce it back.
Interesting. All
Yeah.
right. Well, so that's my book and what I'm working on. What are you working on?
I am also working on a writing project at the moment. I'm very much in the preliminary stages of doing some work for Zach on some fiction, which has been amazing. But in my nonfiction side, I'm wrapping up the final chapters of Course Pricing Strategies. So that is due to Karen here in a couple weeks, and then it'll go to the proofreader in July.
Right.
So
Okay.
I've got my publication date for that is now September 18th, thanks to the wonderful brain of Honore.
Thank
I
you.
said,
Thank you very much.
yeah, so I did this whole, I think you guys thought I was a little crazy when I was first planning this book's schedule. You're like, when's your due date? I'm like, I don't know. And everyone went, like, what are you doing, dude? And
That doesn't, I can't, that's not even an answer for me. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, you don't know. How does that even work? How do you know when to do things?
Yeah, I needed to feel whether the material was going to come together. I was a little nervous with this content, not because I can't speak about it, write about it, or know about it, but because it's such a subjective topic that I
Right.
wasn't sure once I got in if I was going to bite off on a ton of research to put the bow on it. And
Okay.
so I wanted to get the 80% solution in place before I committed to a publication date. So I have that now.
I like it. I like it. I like the fact that you were thoughtful about the content and what you wanted from it before committing to a date. But now we have a date,
Yeah.
September 18th, right?
So now it's on fire. Now it's go time.
Yeah. So now we're cooking with gas, which is great.
Yeah. And then I've been working on scripts. We're just finished up the whole first round of script reviews with Matt for both the Prepare for Medicare and Prepare for Social Security courses, which we've got our publication date for those courses. So Matt, if you're listening from, I can't say where you are, if you're listening
from your non-disclosed location.
If you're listening, then I hope you're smiling just as much as I am, because it feels really good to have gotten through all that.
I need a little Venmo action in order to keep that secret. So you have 12 minutes before I disclose your location.
That's right.
Your coordinates.
Could you like text someone a timer? Like, you're on the clock.
You have 12. I'm going to send you 12 minutes. My Venmo is honore-quarter. I'm not blackmail.
Yeah, no, not at all. Unless it's someone we know.
I have to love you to blackmail you. So let's see. If you're not being blackmailed by me, you know where you stand. Like that's right. It is. Yeah.
So that's been fun. That ties into a little bit of what I talked about in some of my content this week for my newsletter and my podcast. Some of it was about script writing. So
yeah,
good times.
What are you reading?
Oh my gosh. So I'm trying to catch up because I had this moment of realization a couple of weeks ago that I was like 11 books behind my target for this year on book reads.
Oh.
On Goodreads. I said book reads.
It's okay.
Yeah. So I was like, that can't be right. Then when I did the tally up, I got the numbers better. But I was like, I'm still behind. So yeah. So I'm wrapping up the 4th book in Darcy Coates' Black Winter series.
Okay. Is this horror?
It is quite, but it's kind of not.
I'm not writing it down.
It is, but it's kind of not. It's not like your typical horror slasher. It's a bit more of like, I don't know how you could say this. Like, it's almost like a little bit of post-apoc, and I don't even read post-apoc. There's a bit of that to it, but there's also a love story, and there's also, and it's almost like an adventure kind of thriller book more than horror book. So, yeah.
Well, I am not reading that.
I'm also reading.
Oh, go on.
I'm also reading a book written by someone I'm talking to, which we already spoke about.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yeah. Well, thank you. So I am reading this book.
Yes.
See, I'm actually reading this series. So JT is, I know her. And so this might sound like she's my friend. So I'm going to give her props because she's my friend. We are new friends, but I am such a fan of hers and have been a fan of hers. She is the consummate thriller writer. Her writing is beautiful. She uses some crazy vocabulary. I mean, her vocabulary is just incredible. It's thoughtful. The storylines weave together in a way that even though the storylines are weaving together, you cannot figure out what is going on in her very sick mind. No.
She's such a nice lady.
Such a nice lady. Well, but it was this. So I'm in book 4 of the Lieutenant Taylor Jackson series, which is based on a homicide detective from Nashville.
Gotcha.
That's the central character. And so her love interest is a a guy, a profiler from the FBI, and they kind of work together. And I'm just so enjoying the fiction to the point to where even if I have the physical copies of the book, right? So this is the next book in the series, like I'm ready to get it. I also have it in digital form on my phone and on my Kindle in case someone leaves me alone for 5 minutes and I'm not doom scrolling. I'm reading. I'm using every spare minute to read, and it's so incredibly good. And then my other shout out goes to Jeffrey Gitomer. I'm still reading the 21.5 Unbreakable Laws of Selling. The great thing about Jeffrey's writing is that it's not dense content, right? It's a lot of white space, but every sentence can cause the reader, me, to think. I'm thinking about what was written and asking myself the questions. And it's funny because one of the things he says in this particular book is Google yourself. Do you have a full page of content? So I was like, okay. And so I Googled myself today for the first time. I don't know, probably ever. I don't think I've ever Googled myself. I just think that that's weird. But he said it to do it in the book. And so I Googled myself. Did I have a page of content? The good news is yes, I did. I had a page of content, as it turns out. So I can send him a message and go, okay, I checked that box. But I am all in on the Taylor Jackson series that JT has written. I have read several of her other books that are standalone. Just a brilliant writer. So if you like the thriller genre, JT Ellison will keep you very busy, because I happen to have attended her 25th book party a few months ago. When she released It's One of Us, which you did not see that coming. And then, right. And then this new one, The Wolves Come at Night, is her 26th book. So congratulations, JT. I know you're not watching, but I'm sending you congratulations anyway. She's much too busy probably crafting her next brilliant writing or celebrating hopefully the success of this one. So
and I just picked up the first book in that series at your recommendation, All the Pretty Girls, and I had seen that somewhere before, when it first came out, and I was like, oh, this looks really good, and meant to pick it up and read it, but I was all in crazy land. So anyways, Tammy's a big JT Ellison fan.
Yeah.
And so I picked up that copy and said, all right, so now I have to wait till Tammy reads it because I can't read it before she does. She's got her hands on it, and then she'll release it to me after she's done. So,
well, it won't take long, because if she's into it at all, she's probably not even going to make you dinner until she finishes.
She's a super, super fast but dedicated reader. So she'll be done with that book in a day or two, and then I'll be allowed to look at it.
And then you'll get it.
So we have a friend joining us today, Miss Beth.
I was going to say, we want to talk about, let's talk about her while she can't say anything.
We got her sitting in the green room right now, guys.
She's in the green room. Let's talk about Beth. So Beth has some of the best energy of any person I've ever come in contact with. She is super cute and bubbly, and so, just as they say in Maine, wicked smart. So she's very, very, very smart and very creative. And those two things coming together in her world have meant that she has gone from no books as of 1 year ago. So as we are recording this, it is May 25th, 2023, and May 25th of 2022, she had 0 books, everyone, 0. So we're going to bring her on and have her talk about the genesis of her publishing journey with children's books. And she not only has not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, 5 books in less than 1 year's time. And she just has released her first course, and it's in beta. So if you are someone who has contemplated writing a children's book and you're thinking, I don't know if I can do it. Is it too hard? What do I do? What do I do first? What do I do next? We're going to hear from Beth, but please take a look at her course, and we should get that link and put it in the show notes for sure. Yep. Because if you want a course for a very reasonable price, Beth is going to teach you how to write, publish, and market and monetize your children's book just brilliantly, because she is indeed brilliant. So I think now we've said enough about her. Do you think she heard all that stuff?
Oh, she heard it. I've been watching her facial expressions. And I just love the topic too, because when you meet her, you're going to go, yes.
Oh yeah, I get it.
Yes,
Yeah.
I get it. All right.
Yeah.
So you ready, Beth? Here you go. Drum roll. Beth Ann Ramos. Welcome to the show.
Y'all did such a good job. I kind of feel like, oh, I could go home now, but I'm home now. So
But you're home. But
There
you're
we
home.
go.
You can have a snack.
Yeah.
Bonus points if there's a cat that shows up
Oh,
during
yes.
our conversation.
Here.
Yes. Oh,
Okay.
there you go. Speak
Always.
it into existence.
There's
Always.
always a cat within 5 feet.
So Beth, we now have all this captured, right? Not only is it live, but it's recorded. So now we can just cut that whole segment out of Honore's intro and you can post it everywhere. You can just be like,
That's so
oh,
cool. That was
here I
so
am.
nice. Thank you so much.
So how you doing? Doing good?
Doing good. We've got kids' graduations today. So it's like drop off and back for graduation and like back again. And so it feels kind of chaotic, but it's good. It's all good. So yeah, I'm doing kind of the last minute business scramble before the little ones are home.
Is tomorrow the first day that they're home?
Tomorrow they still have school, and then I don't know why they're doing graduations today, and then they're doing more school tomorrow, but I think that's enough for us. That's enough for us. They've actually got 2 more days next week, but as I speak live to the internet, I think we're not going to go.
No one will know. The school's not watching.
I just feel like it's enough. I just feel like it's enough, and we're ready. So we're just going to call it Friday all.
Well, because it's a long weekend, and yeah, what are you doing for the long weekend besides celebrating 5 books and a course launch?
Yeah, so I will be at the Cello Awards. I will be in North Carolina because my first book is up for an award there. So I fly out Sunday and we'll spend that weekend into next week there. Yeah.
So good. So
fun.
let's back up. Let's back up a year when you had no books, when you were a big loser and you had no books.
My tea is hot and I'm going to spit it and it's going to be so painful, but y'all will be amused. It will be fun for you.
Yes. We'll capture.
If it makes you feel better, Beth, I was a loser for another 7 months after that. So you beat me out of the loser column.
You've never been a loser. You've never been a loser.
Never, not for one day. No, we'll have Caleb do a short of you spitting your tea out. And it'll be a GIF. It'll just be a GIF. It'll just be like something we send each other. Like, oh, are you having
we need that in our lives? We need that.
We need that. Yes. So a year ago, you had no books. And then what happened?
So funny you should ask, Honore. So I obviously was in EBM with y'all, and you had challenged us to create something that was easy, lucrative, fast, and fun in 6 weeks. And so that challenge was really nice for me because previously I was just like thinking in circles. My books were growing, like there wasn't really an end. And so when I had like that really short time frame, I was really able to kind of quit doubting myself, quit worrying about it being perfect, and just get something together. And so I really, if it weren't for that challenge, I do not think I would have figured out that I could do this because it was a surprise to me too. So.
I love that. So you and I had a conversation, and just so people know how quickly you can access this, because I want to say 2 things. I want to say Beth is special because she had a special set of skills, but Beth is also not special in that you aren't able to do it. You, the person that's watching, right? Everyone has access to something in this way. So you and I had a conversation 2 days before the reveal of your book. And what was happening 2 days before the reveal of your book?
You know, I was just feeling like it wasn't coming together. I was kind of like, I had a vision, but like there were things that were like out of place. And yeah, I think it was really just, and I think that's what I have in common with so many people is that we come up with like these roadblocks or we have these excuses. And then we take that as like, oh, it didn't work. I need to stop. And so after our conversation, I was able to get past that. And I I remember it was right before our meeting that everybody was going to like reveal. I spent all day illustrating and it was just as fast as I could. And it was like,
Yeah.
like I couldn't, because I just didn't want to show up and be like, I didn't do anything, you know, like I couldn't figure it out. And so so I just got it done, skipped lunch, which probably wasn't good, like just all day, and did however many illustrations to pull it together. And then that was that. So
Yeah. So what I remember from that day is, hold please, Lucas, what do you remember from when Beth gave her presentation?
Well, I remember her being like, yeah, I'm not sure if, if I've really got something nailed down. Are you talking about that conversation?
No, the when she showed up when we had our meeting, and she showed up and started reading her book to us.
Oh, she blew me away. I
Yeah.
was like, you're done? Like it's done. It's like a thing. Like I was shocked because the conversation I was just mentioning seemed like just around the corner from that. It seemed like just a week before you were like, yeah, I'm not sure if I'm going to do this. I'm not sure if this is the right thing.
Yeah.
And then immediately you just turned on the boosters. And I've noticed this about, like, Beth, I'm going to talk about you for a moment. Like, you're not sitting right here in front of us. When she gets her mindset on something and she commits to it, she is an immovable force. Like, she just ran with this tremendous amount of focus to get this done. You've done that with your course as well. So
thank you.
You really commit to something and you get it done. And I think it's a good lesson for a lot of people that are considering, because I mean, it's not like you had written a children's book before, right?
No.
Or a book.
Yeah.
Or illustrated.
Yep. But you put your head down and you got to work and you got it done and you nailed it. I mean, you basically blew all of us away that were sitting in the room. We were just like, wow, right? This is great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I really feel like all of us have like our interests, like our talents, like these different kind of things, and almost like bubbles. And I think that when you can like pull them all together, they can like be something. And so I feel like that's really just what the process was for me. It was like, I've always wanted to write a book. I wanted to be an illustrator, but I never studied that. I don't know how, but like I like to color chalk with my kids. Like I make up rhymes. Like I have young kids. I don't have deep thoughts. Like, so I make up rhymes. Like how can I connect these dots? Like, how do these pieces fit? And so I think we all kind of have that. And to me, the coolest thing, like, yes, like I have the books, but like the process is really fun. Like, I feel like when you're kind of like in the groove and like doing what you love, like it's just so fun. And, so I do feel like in some ways, like I figured out how to do some of these things, but I think everybody has the capacity to do that. I really feel like if you want to do something, you are meant to do it. And the only thing standing in your way is you.
Oh, I love that. That could be on a t-shirt.
You are in your way.
You are in the way of you.
Get out of your way.
Move it. So I think I'm hearing a few things that would be great takeaways for people if we pointed them out. One was a deadline, right? One was the immovable deadline.
Yeah. And I think, our deadline was pretty aggressive. And so I like aggressive deadlines though. Like I tend to do well with that, but it's also not good for me. So it's like, I really probably shouldn't do that. But yeah, I think, and having the accountability, because I think if I was like, oh, I have 6 weeks, I'd be like, well, this is hard. I need 12 weeks. And so having y'all that like, we were going to show up and present, that's the deadline, so the accountability really helps. And I think, for me, I get so stuck in this like perfectionist overthinking mentality. And so being able to like, just blow past that, like just go with what my gut is, that is so powerful. And it really helps me get things done.
Yeah, I love that. So I have a question then. Was the challenge good, or was it stressful, or both? Because it sounds like there was, and I'm also curious, and I'm going to throw another question in there. How much of the 6 weeks were you procrastinating?
Yeah.
And how much of it were you going, this is the immovable deadline, I'm not going to show up, I'm going to get out of my own way? Because if you feel like 6 weeks, because I feel like myself, having written so many books and accomplishing different things, I feel like people waste an awful lot of time, and that the actual time that it takes to do something doesn't take very long. It's all of the time that they spend going, I don't know if I can do it. I'm not sure I could do it. So what do you think about that in terms of
I think that's very true. I think for me, if my memory serves me, I feel like I got the illustrations done in about 2 days of like gun it. I got the words for my story done one day, like on a drive from like drop off with my 3-year-old and back. I would say I spent a lot of time though figuring out, how do I do an illustration? How do I get it on the computer? How do I, there was a bunch of that kind of thing. And then there were things like, I've got this rhyme, this page, like what visualization makes sense for that? Like what, so I would say, yes, there was a lot of not having anything to show or not work. But I think some of it too was just kind of like figuring out the scenes, I guess, and like what they looked like with the characters and some of that. And then once I sat to do it, then it came very quick because I had kind of done that pre-work. I was ready to illustrate this
time.
Yeah, if I had sat down, and I guess there probably were some that I was like, I don't really know what to do here, but I just kind of used the content to guide me. And so, and I truthfully, little confession, like when we were on one of our monthly EBM calls, and I was sketching like during the call, like my little characters and trying to figure out like, how do I draw this? Like how, because I mean, coming from, I never illustrated, like, how's that happen? So, but I do agree. I think I think if you count like my actual work time, it was way faster. It was way faster than 6 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now
I feel like that. I think that was the case as well. I have another question, but Lucas, dive in there.
I was going to say, you just said you never illustrated before, and it's a children's book.
Yeah.
And
that's
every
a problem.
page. Yeah. Like how, I can save this for after your question, Honore, if your question's related to your other question. But I just would like to touch on that at some point, because for me, like that is the big hitch with a children's book is the art, right? I feel comfortable as a writer writing, but although I know that that's a very particular way to do that with children's books, right? You have to be really careful about how you write. And obviously the way the story is laid out and everything is there's a very specific way in which you have to kind of differentiate that from traditional like novel length fiction. But the imagery to me is like the most intimidating part about thinking about doing a children's book.
Yeah.
You just rolled right into that.
Well, because we had 6 weeks and I had reached out to some designers and they were like, yeah, we can start in 6 months and it's $10,000. And I was like, that's not really in budget or within the timeline I need. And I had spoken to someone else and I think she was going to charge me like $2,500, which was more reasonable. And I'll call her an artist. This artist did really beautiful watercolors. But in my mind, my characters and my book were like very light and very bubbly. And I just wasn't looking to make like a statement art piece. And so I just kind of, and I actually, one of the designers I reached out to, I showed her some of my sketches and I said, this is what I'm thinking. And she said, you could probably illustrate at some point. And I was like, okay, I'll try that, So that was probably when I got out like my kids' watercolors and I was coloring on the kitchen floor. And it's like, okay, well, how do I scan this? How do I get this in? But then I didn't know how to touch it up. I don't know. I'm dipping my toe in Photoshop right now, but I don't really know how to do that mess. And so I thought, well, if I create it on the computer, then it's just what it is. So I don't have to reformat it. So that's where that came from. And I honestly, one day I was so frustrated because Illustrator's like a tool with like a lot of capabilities, and I couldn't figure it out. I thought it would be like InDesign. It's not. And so then I was like, I can just draw circles. I can draw ovals. I can draw. And so that's what I brought a little copy. So my first character, she's circles. Like that's what she is. Like this is half of a circle. This is like a rectangle, circles. Like, and so I feel like illustrating doesn't have to be doing what these artists are doing. Like it's doing what you see as art. And I think simplicity with kids is so important. I think they're drawn to that. And I think we as adults can overcomplicate stuff. And so I feel like anybody who has any inkling at all to illustrate, I would encourage it, because I was able to do it. And I was just in a group where somebody put together, I don't even know how she did this pretty illustration with like background stuff. And she was like, I can't find an illustrator and I was like, do it. Like, because like we don't see like in ourselves like what we're capable of. And so anyway, all that to say, I feel like a lot of things aren't as hard as we make them out to be. We just kind of need to try and do a little bit. And then as you learn, you can make it more complicated and that kind of stuff. But
that was a soundbite right there, Lucas. Right
Yes.
down the time.
Timestamp.
Awesome. Yeah. So what I was going to say is I'm glad you held up the book, because the characters are delightful. Olive and Andy should have lots of adventures. And I have looked at some of the children's book series on Amazon, and like they have so many books, because they become, the thing that somebody wants to follow the series. Like I'm reading JT's series, right? Those are just grown-up people that kill each other. These are children's characters that are, doing
no one kills each other.
that are doing more fun things. Yep. Olive and Andy's babysitter goes missing is probably mine.
It was Honore.
It was the replacement nanny, creating a job. But I think that you are reading the book. Is it? Do I understand right that you have read the book and it's on YouTube?
I've put my readings on YouTube. I have. And yeah, they're just kind of fun. They're rhymey, very simple. Yeah,
I'm getting new glasses. Today is the day.
Yeah,
right?
And the glasses one is really fun. I've had a lot of parents reach out and they just say like their kids love it so much. Like even the toddlers and stuff that, golly, what was they love the page with the pineapple glasses and they think it's so funny. Here we go. Do these make me look silly? This is like a big kid favorite. Do these make me look silly? So
talk about so you had the challenge and you did the book very quickly. What's the tie-in with glasses? Talk about I'm getting new glasses and what that's all about.
Well, my husband is an optometrist and my background is marketing. So I, in my head for over a decade now, have been like, there's got to be something fun here. Like, what can we do to kind of lighten this up and make it fun? And, people don't really, I was thinking, like optometrists, don't tell my husband, like optometry is not really fun. Like the most fun thing about optometry is glasses, right? Like nobody wants to talk about a slit lamp or like, I don't know, like contact lenses. I don't know. But I was like, okay, so like glasses are fun. And so I was kind of playing with that. Glasses are fun. And then it was just kind of, I don't know. It's like I say, like the actual work comes fast, but it was like all that kind of back of the brain work that you're kind of not even realizing you're working on it. And then it happens. So I created it. I thought it would be fun for his practice to be able to gift to kids who are getting new glasses. And I made a version that's branded. I don't have it on me on the back to like, it's a full page ad for his office so that we can give it to kids that are getting like eye exams at the pediatrician or at the school or stuff like that. And I've gotten connected with a national group of optometrists to get the book out, to those offices as well. And so I'm really just kind of trying to find ways to partner with pediatric medical practices. I think like pediatricians, optometrists. I'm getting kind of into like the health and wellness space with this When I Take Care of Me book and the coloring book and all of that, because I really feel like childhood is such a special time. And I think we're all kind of having such a mindset, mental crisis. Is that the right word? Like, I just feel like people need like a boost. And so I really like keeping things light and keeping things happy and keeping things encouraging. And that's really the reason I'm doing the books.
Love that. I love that.
Yeah.
So cool. So
well, you're even doing it for the older population.
So when I did the glasses book, all my Smarty Pants friends were like, you need to do a bifocal book. And I was like, challenge accepted. And so I'm getting new bifocals, which is a parody. It's just silly.
Fun.
Yeah, it's silly. I think my favorite page is like, do I look like an old dad? So which this is like a trendy pair of glasses now, actually. Look at him. He's got a fine father figure.
If any of us are asking that question, the answer is yes. You do look like a dad.
So I'm just having fun with picture books. I love illustrating them. I love the color. And I've had one that I turned into a coloring book and one I'm working on now, and taking out the color is so sad to me because it's just like, now it's just like this drab, like black and white picture.
Oh, but it's going to be so good for the kids though. They're going to,
but then they get to add, they get to do the
do.
color, and that'll be fantastic. But making it, I'm like, this is sad. I had to just like film my face. Like, it's so sad, like going through the motions of like the color removal.
Oh, just put on some good music. Well, it's so fun. It's going to be so fun though, because coloring books are
super fun, and I'm really excited.
Great.
And those I really want to get in schools, and like, because again, like okay, so optometry maybe isn't like so fun to everybody. Health and wellness isn't always so fun to everybody, right? Because we think about like calorie counting and eating stuff that's not healthy, and like that's not fun. And so that's another reason I really want to get this stuff to kids in schools to supplement their health and wellness programs, because they can start coloring fun pictures and seeing that. So my background's like holistic health training. And so like, it is what you eat, but it's also what you do and who you spend time with. And so health is fun when you think about, oh, that means like playing outside and doing stuff I like and hanging out with my friends and I like them. So it's really kind of just like, it's a mindset shift. Like all of these books, like, with glasses, like is it, oh, I'm getting glasses, or is it like, I'm getting glasses. Like I can see, these are fun. I like my glasses. They look good on my face. Oh, I don't want to be healthy. Well, like if you do that your whole life, you're going to be really bummed out. So like, let's just shift that to like, these are ways I can take care of myself better.
You can wear pineapple glasses and eat
you
pineapple.
Pineapple
is delicious.
Do
Pineapple is delicious. Yes.
Especially on pizza, right? All right.
I am in the pineapple on pizza category.
Yeah. Me too.
I love a Hawaiian pizza. I know that some people think that that's terrible, but I think it's delicious. I'm probably going to have it like this weekend.
So good.
I'm just a pizza fan, period. Like you could bring me a pizza with like motor oil and like just like bolts and leaves, and I'd be like, fold it up if the cheese is ever good.
It's pizza. I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in. Well, so Beth, then you have. So I'm getting new glasses. When I take care of me, I'm getting new bifocals.
Mm-hmm.
You did a more religious book. Tell us about that.
So this one, I brought them all.
Good. All your children.
Yeah. So this one, my son was getting his first communion, and I really wanted to make a book for him. And so he said he wanted a book with like a saint and a quote about the Eucharist. And so I did this little book, which I thought it just really was like fun to illustrate with all the little saints and stuff.
It's adorable.
Yeah. I think this one actually is the first book where I felt like I sort of know what I'm doing now. Like I'm hitting like my groove. And then it was kind of funny because when he made his first communion, he was like, Mom, everyone else got presents and I didn't get a present. And I was like, I wrote and illustrated a book for you, son.
Yeah. What else do you want? Like, really, you wanted a pizza with motor oil and bolts.
Which, if we get in touch with Helen, he and I could go get lunch together.
That's right.
Thank you, Helen.
Yeah.
Great.
So that one I did, and then it's the first one that I turned into a coloring book. Which, if there's anyone wanting to illustrate and turn something into a coloring book, I learned something very important, and that's. When you have images outlined in black, there's more contrast. So when you stick the photo in Photoshop, it's pretty easy to like, boom, it's black and white. So my new one, or these characters, they're not outlined. So I'm having to go recreate all my stuff, and it's tedious. So that would be my biggest tip to anyone wanting to illustrate is if you plan on doing that as a coloring book. Outline it. And it's funny, it doesn't even matter when you put it in Photoshop to convert it. And now I'm geeking out. If there's like color like in the black lines, because it like recognizes that, but that border is so important that it's crisp, because otherwise it'll turn out fuzzy and it won't translate. So
then not to be left, without anything in your empire, right? So you had 0 assets in your empire 1 year ago, and then you have 4 books and a coloring book. And then most recently, you decided to do a course. So talk to us about your course.
Yeah. So EBMC needed a course about kids' books is really like,
Obviously.
right? Like they just needed it. And so I just want to share with people who are intimidated by the process how easy it can be if you just like lean into like what you do know and focus on what you want to happen. And I guess too, I've talked to so many people who are like, oh, I've always thought I would do this, or because children's books, like they're approachable. Like when we're reading to our kids or grandkids, like I think a lot of us have thought like I could do that. And then we don't because we've got all these hangups. And so I really just wanted to create a course that says, actually, wait, you can push back through all that stuff. And this is what the process looks like. So now it's not scary anymore because like we've opened the closet, we've seen the boogeyman, and so now it's
the boogeyman.
Yeah. And so so now it's not so scary and you can take that next step. And so that's really like the whole point of that course is, get started, just get started.
So the course is in beta. So what's the price of the course right now and for how long?
I think it's $79 right now. I think it's $79 right now.
Yeah, she's got it priced at $79.
Yeah, it'll double up here in a bit.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
By the way, great job on your landing page.
That's a steal. That's
Thanks.
a steal. Yeah, that's a steal. Do we have a URL?
It's a steal. And I mean, when I think about it too, it's a short course. I mean, I think it's like an hour of content, but I don't really like to waste a lot of time. I kind of just like get in there and go through it. But I've studied book publishing, I guess, for like 3 or 4 years now. And so I wanted to take kind of all of that knowledge. I think prior to EBM, I'd done 3 other courses, and I still didn't have a book. And so I just thought, I spent all this time and all this money, and if I can help somebody streamline or gain a little bit of confidence or take the next step, then I feel like it's worth it to do that. So I hate to think of all the stuff, books and other things that we think like, oh, this would be amazing, and then we keep it to ourselves. I feel like that is such a bummer. Like think about everything that could be out there that's not. And so I just kind of want to give people that little nudge so they take the next step.
I love that. I love that. I love that you did that. And I have done courses where I did what you did. I tried to just give all meat and all information and then also say, when you want more, when you're ready for more, here's the more. Here are other things. You do that in your course as well?
Yes. So I have a list of resources and things that'll be helpful, like for your next steps. And I provide my contact information too, because I'm happy to help if I can. So, and I'm on the internet and the places, so I feel like the writing communities are really pretty open, and I think we're willing to help each other. And so I certainly, if somebody's hung up, I want to help them stop being hung up.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. Thank you so much, Beth, for coming and talking books and coloring book and course. I mean, you have just knocked it out of the park this last year and created so many great assets and places for people to go, and you're going to impact lives and encourage young people when it comes to getting their glasses. You're going to make old people feel good about wearing bifocals.
Thank you.
You're really making the world a better place. You're making the world a better place.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, it's really inspirational too, because I mean, there's I have always wanted to do a children's book around a topic that my daughter and I had come up with, and seeing you produce your books made that more real to me. Right.
Awesome.
Which is, it was really inspirational. And it also reminded me that I got to get going on that. Right. It's like, time's just going to keep slipping by, man. You got to just jump.
Well, and I think the nice thing is, and I guess when I was talking about like all the courses I did and stuff, I think a lot of us think like the only way to get it done is traditionally. And that just seems so big because you have to have like this huge following. And that's what I think I studied traditional publishing for a year, and it was like, get an agent and it's so feasible now. Like, I mean, you and your daughter could like get that done and you don't need anybody's permission. And so that's just so cool that, it's accessible, it's for everybody.
And did you have any issue with the eye care company around who published your book? Was there an issue with it at all? Did they even ask?
With the eye care company who published it? What?
Did they care if you were like traditionally published or self-published? Did they care?
Oh gosh, no. Oh gosh, no. Yeah, no.
You were able to create your own
Yeah.
opportunities with your book.
Yeah.
Self-published.
And the nice
There
thing
was
too
no
is like, I
barrier.
have the flexibility. So if I want to stick on an ad on the back cover, great. Like if I want to like take the characters and make posters to put up at a school, cool. You know, like it's just like I'm the approval process. Do I like that? Yeah. So
Yeah, I do too. I like the
Yep.
freedom. I like the freedom and
it's
flexibility,
really nice.
the control, all the things, the
Mhm.
cash.
Yeah.
So I'd be remiss as the course dude on the call if I didn't point out a couple things about the way you approached your course development. I thought that it was great that you used your colors from your book in your landing page. So your landing page matches your brand, right? Oftentimes we think about doing that as nonfiction authors, but I think that some people get away with that with children's books. They leave that art to the book and they don't necessarily drag that into the rest of their branding. And I think you did a really good job of,
Oh, thank you.
yeah, you drag that color palette right into your landing page, which is wonderful and it's clean. And like you said, you made it so that it stands out. Like I can tell that's your work. It doesn't look like everyone else's art. And the other thing is, you did a good job of showcasing your books without being like hyper promotional on the page, which I think is cool because there's nothing worse than trying to figure out which button to push, right? So like,
thank you.
yeah, people will create a course and they litter it with sales for everything else. And then the course isn't moving and they're wondering why they're not making sales. And it's like, well, I mean, I had to
Where do you
wade
go?
through, all the ads and things to try and find your enrollment. You really did a good job of showing your books while also staying focused on your course. And
Thank you.
I think it looks really nice. And you did it on a free Thinkific account, right?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. So, and really my whole reason for doing the book covers, I mean, I guess like it makes sense for sales and that kind of thing, but I felt like I needed to be like, I really did write books.
Right.
I didn't want to just have like a page that's like, trust me, I make books.
Yeah. Very
Wow.
nice.
So good. Yeah. This is so good. I'm on your page.
Oh,
and I love that it's branded. I love Good Day Books. I love the positivity of it. I just think you're just a phenomenal human.
Thank
You're
you.
a breath of sunshine. You're smart and creative and brilliant. And I just love watching you go. It's just
thank you.
You're a force multiplier for everyone who gets to kind of be in your, because you really inspired everyone. I think last year, so I never came back to what I was thinking when you kind of whipped out your book. Y'all, she just kind of like whipped it out. She just opened up and started reading, getting your glasses. Today is the day. And she's reading these rhymes. And I think our mouths, like our jaws were on the floor. And I remember Ray Brem saying, well, nobody else needs to go. Beth won.
Yep. Yeah.
Beth won the challenge. Like that, like, I'm not even going to go. He was like, I'm out. Hands in the air. Right. And I think it was just really inspiring to see you get out of your own way to go, I'm going to commit to this. Right. Because we all come to that fork in the road where we go, am I going to, and I went to a seminar once and they called it the chicken exit, right? You always have that, like at the very last minute, you can take a chicken exit and make a reason, make an excuse for, well, I couldn't because we all have that, right? We can all say this happened or that happened and I wasn't able to go. But there's a moment for anyone who achieves anything, writing a book, running a marathon, starting a business, staying in their business. There's a moment where you kind of just say, I'm going to be the ant that moved the plant. I'm going to just put my head down and do it anyway. The worst thing that can happen. What's the worst thing that can happen? Right?
Yeah.
Nothing.
And I think for me, like
the worst thing that can happen is you can take the chicken exit, is you can come right up to the moment of decision and then go, oh, I'm not going to press publish, or it's not perfect, so I'm not going to do it, or I'm going to do one more round. And when you just kind of lean into that, you really discover what you're made of and what's possible. And then you're an example for everyone else of what you're made of and what's possible, because we're all together. We're all doing this. And so I love that you did that. I love that you just showed up and you were like, I'll go. Here's my book. And
Would you like
I
me to
was
read it to you?
excited. I was
Yeah,
really excited
so
too,
great.
because I mean, yeah. But yeah, and I think too, like one thing I've noticed with myself is if I let myself go down the rabbit hole of like all the excuses, like you're saying, and all the reasons, and like that overthinking, and like that's what keeps me from doing stuff. But if I'm just like, here's the task, shut it out. Here's the objective, shut it out. Like I kind of just like I
Yeah.
can't even listen to all those thoughts, because then I get
Right.
distracted and down the hole. So it's like you just shut it down. Like you notice it and you shut it down.
I don't want to go to the gym. Let me tie my shoes. I don't want to
Yeah.
go to the gym. Let me get in the car. I don't want to get on the treadmill. I'll just do 1 minute. Okay, well, I'm already here. Right? I wrote a sentence. I should write another sentence. You
Yeah.
wrote a book. You should write another book, right? I need to follow up with a client. Let me just make another phone call, right? A prospective client, or, someone who I want to be an EBM, right? Nobody would be an EBM if I didn't call them and go, you want to be an EBM?
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
Yeah.
so we're having this conversation because I was like, that Lucas, he looks cool.
And I was like, who, me?
Beth is fun. Beth is fun. She should be an EBM, right? Because if I were just sitting here going, I hope they sign up.
Well, I had no friends. I was a pretty soft target. I had no friends.
I was
and
gonna
she
say
was-
I probably would have like anyway.
I
She's
had
like,
asked you, I'd be eating Byron's brisket all by myself.
she's just sending us pictures of each other. Hey, check this person out. They're fun. You should meet them. They're going to be there in December. Have I introduced you to Chris Bystransky yet? Yeah. All the fun. So, all right, Beth. So we usually leave a few minutes here at the end. So if anyone wants to ask questions, throw them in the chat. I would be remiss if I didn't point out that Helen Bullen loves you. She said we all
Helen's so
love Beth.
sweet. I love you, Helen.
Yeah, she's
I'm
amazing.
afraid if I get into the chat, I'll get confused. So I'm just
Yeah, I
gonna
wouldn't
not
go there.
I can't get in the chat. I'm not able to get in the chat. I can only do
Really?
a private chat. I've never figured out how to chat.
Oh, you can't see the chat running down the side?
It is, but I can't. There's no box for me to type
Oh,
it.
yeah, you can't put a comment. Only the host can.
I can't. Mm-mm.
Sorry.
I
But you know
know.
what's funny about that is you do have an administrator's permission on my account. So we'll have to see how we can work that out in the future.
I don't know that I want that power. With much power comes much responsibility. I kind of like just sitting here and reading the comments, and
You'll be
I
hosting
really
your
like
butt
this
off.
system. This is super cool. I've never used anything like this.
Yeah, so this is Restream. I'll nerd out for
Yeah.
just 30 seconds.
do it.
Restream is probably the third streaming platform I tested when I first started doing streaming. I started streaming just to hang out with my friends that were like living everywhere else on Wednesday afternoons with East Partnership. So we would interview these subject matter experts from around the industry. And we wanted to do it live. We wanted to do it unscripted. I tried StreamYard. StreamYard was great. That's a good platform. And then the Restream came up, and I tested this one out, and then I tested another one, and I immediately settled on Restream. I really liked it. It was smooth. But just to note that most of these came up right toward the like tipping point for the pandemic. So they were like really polishing them up. They were like rushing to get them functioning. They're much more stable now than they used to be. So Restream's great. And you can do a trial, I believe. Okay. I'll stop talking about Restream so we can ask you the final question. Today's final question. What is next for building your empire? What do you have up your sleeve?
So I have a few things. I'm trying out of the gate to just be patient with myself because the kids are about to be home. And so that's kind of a game changer.
Yep.
However, I have a list of like 20 books I want to write. I think like most so now, the When I Take Care of Me coloring book, I want to get that into schools. I want that to be curriculum in the fall, a supplement. I'm doing that. I am working on getting into health coaching again. So I had taken a hiatus with the kids home and kind of that kind of stuff, but I feel like it's something so important and it's so fun. And so I want to get doing that again. I may do another course this year, not totally sure. And Olive and Andy have another adventure. They're going to fly on an airplane. So that's coming soon. That's coming soon.
Cool.
So I think that'll keep me busy for the rest of the year, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beth,
Wow.
I just get this feeling like you're just getting started.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
You
Thank
know,
you.
like you've
I
got these
really,
assets, but you're just
yeah.
getting started. Like your community is going to build, and you've got all this greatness to just bring to people. I just feel like it's
Thank
just getting started.
you. It's
Well,
really fun. It's
Southwest. Can you
what's that?
imagine like going to Southwest and selling them? Like I'm going on my first
Wouldn't that be
airplane ride,
amazing?
right?
Yeah,
Southwest,
it's
are you
super cute.
listening?
I've already written it. I just need to illustrate it, but I'm really excited for that one. Yeah. And then I too, like with the kids home, they're so inspirational. And so I kind of want to play with the idea of like I'm getting a bike or something like that and what it's like to like get into your big kid bike and that sort of thing. I've had people say I'm getting braces, I'm getting, so there's a lot of room to play. And
I'm getting, my parents are getting divorced. I'm getting a bonus dad or a bonus mom.
Yeah.
New school, new house, new dog, new cat.
Yeah. It's all these like new experiences that, maybe if they can see it in a positive light, like it's, easier or, maybe there's like fun elements that they hadn't seen. And I feel like I've kind of got these series, I guess series is the right word. And so I just kind of every year want to be like adding to those and building them out and just seeing where they go. So the courses are really fun. I've enjoyed the courses, and Lucas, I appreciate your like encouragement and your book and all of that, because I had never really thought as a children's book author and illustrator that like it made sense to get into books. And one thing that I may do, we'll see. I kind of want to put together a course. My background's marketing, corporate marketing. I kind of want to put together a course that helps optometrists think about marketing for their practices, because a lot of professionals, they get all this technical training and then like, oh, they're a practice owner, but like, how do you get new clients? And so I think that would just be helpful to them. And I think probably the case is the same with like pediatricians. And so if I do another course, I think that it would be that. And then we'll see, maybe. Yeah. Well, then we'll see. We'll see.
I just did the cardinal sin of as an author, giving an author a whole bunch of books to write. It's like, why don't you write this book and this book and this book and this book? So forgive me.
I have a list, and I really do.
Beth.
Yeah, no, it's good. I have a list, and every 2 weeks I kind of look at it and go, okay, is this still the priority? Is this still, and there's stuff that's like way on the back burner, like someday, and there's stuff that like I would really like it done. And I really wanted my little coloring and activity health book done before the kids came home, but then I ran into that thing with my images, and it's just not going to happen that fast. So, but that's okay. You just like keep pushing and get it done, and then go to the next
500 words a day, 500 words or 1,000 words a day. Let's do round math that I can do in my head. 1,000 words a day is 365,000 words in a year. So when you think about taking a bite out of something, right? It's like a lot of people go, oh, I want to write a book, but it's so big. And it's like, if you reduce it almost to the ridiculous, then you can say, all right, if I don't want to write 365,000 words this year, maybe I could write 500. So whatever that is, 182.5, right? But maybe not even 182,500 words. That's 5 books, right? So maybe I just want to write 250 words a day. And so I don't know what that is. Is that 90 something thousand?
You lost me at numbers. Like,
yeah, but I mean, if you think about 250 words is like 1 or 2 emails in terms of the number of words.
It's 91,250.
Thank you. So maybe 1,000 words a day sounds like too much. That's a lot. But if you could write 250 words a day, that is 3 30,000 word books. That's 3 fulls. This is about 30,000 words. So if you think about it like that, like I can't do my whole list, my want to do list, my like to do list, the someday list. I can't do it all in one day, but if you just keep chipping away at whatever it is you're working on, you're going to get there one little bite at a time. Yeah. And I love it. I love watching what you're doing. I can't wait to see where you are a year from now.
Thank you.
5 years from now. So cool.
Thanks.
Awesomeness. Well, Beth, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank y'all. It was
your
really
links,
fun.
Yeah, links to Beth's website, her course, they're all in the show notes. Make sure you go check out her books. Your course is phenomenal. I'm actually getting ready to enroll in it so that I can go through it and learn how to write a children's book.
Yay! Let me know what you think. Yeah.
I should force my daughter to sit in that class is what I should do. And then, then she can educate me.
Funny. Oh, like, so you were asking me about other projects. So there's a Girl Scout group that wants me to come and talk about how kids could publish. And so I'm going to do that in a couple weeks. And I was thinking, like I may as well just put together like a book or a course that teaches kids, right? Like, so maybe that'll happen. I don't know, but
there you go.
I love it.
Yeah. We appreciate that. And we'll have to have you back so we can get an update from you a little in a couple of months or whatever, when you've gotten your next 5 books published and your next 4 classes and all the things. I'm just excited we're excited to see how this all rolls out for you this year. So,
thank you guys so much.
Yes, ma'am. All right, guys, you know the deal. Subscribe, check us out live every Thursday, noon Eastern time here on all the channels. Make sure that you're checking out the podcast, Empire Builders Masterclass, and you're subscribing to the YouTube channel and checking us out on all the socials. We appreciate everyone. Ring the bell, check the thing. What did we say last week? Drink the tea, take the nap.
Eat the chocolate.
Eat the chocolate.
Like, love it, share it, hang out with us, ask questions. Come back next time. We're so glad to hang out with you. Thanks, everybody.
That's right. Thanks, guys.